can know about. The Social Security Act, created the trust. When you look
Okay,
at the name on the card, you think it's your name. It's not your name.
I understand that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a trust, then what kind of status are you correcting for the trust? What
I
power
don't
do you
know.
have over that trust?
I don't know.
See, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is being taught out there is you have to correct your status.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how can you correct something when you don't even know what it is?
Right. I agree.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Black's Law Dictionary and look up the word status, it has nothing to do with nationality. It
Mm-hmm.
has to do with whether or not you are competent.
Competency. Mm-hmm.
Competency or
Mm-hmm.
incompetency.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's presumed you're a minor, that you're not competent to handle your own affairs.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, that's proven out in the law because why? The more we ask the federal government to provide these services, the more we prove we're not competent to handle them ourselves.
Understood. Mm-hmm.
See, you're
Okay.
not the grantor of the trust, you're not the
Mm-hmm.
trustees, and only the trustees have the power to make decisions for the trust.
Right.
I mean, hypothetically, could you be the beneficiary? Yeah, but as Tim can attest, which he's not here, you're probably not the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so I'm probably not the beneficiary, but that changes if you correct the status.
No,
No. Okay.
no. When he
Okay.
called the Social Security Administration, they said, "Oh yeah, you're not the beneficiary yet. You got to wait till you get to a certain age." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, that means there's somebody else that's the beneficiary now if it's not you." And my
Okay.
presumption, based on who the trustees are,
Mm-hmm.
is the state is the beneficiary because the third trustee is the Department of Health and Human Services.
Services, yeah.
And what does that go to? Oh, Title IV funding?
Mm-hmm. Uh, okay. So more so controlling the straw man for private use. Like you want to take the straw man out of the public into the private.
You can place it into another trust and let the trust manage it, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it. The trust can manage it. If I create a trust and I name it Christina and hypothetically make you the beneficiary,
Mm-hmm.
how can you take control of it?
That's that's what I'm saying. How do you? And
You
if I
can't.
understand you, you said through a status correction because
No. The status
technically,
correction has
uh-huh,
nothing to do with the trust.
right, it has to do whether or not you're competent or incompetent to run the trust. So it has to
No,
do with your
no,
ability.
no. It
That's what
has
you
nothing to.
said.
No, I said it has to do with competency or incompetency. In other words, are you competent to handle your own commercial affairs?
That's what I just said.
That has nothing to do with you managing another trust.
Okay, now I'm confused all over again.
Well,
Hmm.
you're thinking that's your trust when you had no say so in the matter.
I don't think that. No, you presume. I don't think
Okay.
that's my trust. I don't think that. I
Okay.
said that it's a straw man, right? When we were talking in the comments, I said that I don't have a problem, proclaiming that I'm just a living woman. But the straw man is on paper. So when you correct the status, you're correcting on paper that you're competent. which is where the straw man lives, right?
No,
No. Okay. Now
you
I'm
don't
confused.
correct competency on paper.
Mhm.
Competency is proven by your actions.
Okay. I understand. I got it. Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
handling your commercial affairs is knowing who you are as a player in the game,
Mhm.
knowing how to handle your own contracts, everything.
Okay.
It's
I got you.
commerce.
I got you. Yeah, it's commerce. I get you now. Okay. I get what you're saying. Okay. So it's not a filing, it's a pretty much a behavior.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's the
Okay.
reason why I tell people the first thing they should
Mhm.
study is the law of agency. If you want to know how this game is played, you need to first study the law of agency, because that's going
Mhm.
to be your foundation. Because
Sure.
everything in this system is an agency relationship.
Sure. Okay. Mm. Okay. All right. Well, I do appreciate that perspective. That, I mean, it kind of, changes what I thought about the status correction, but I agree with you. I think it is a behavior. I agree with
I mean,
that. I agree.
I did a FOIA request with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Office and asked them for any records showing that I was a U.S. citizen. They come back and said, we have none.
Hmm.
So that kills the presumption of what's being taught, that you're the U.S. citizen because of the social and you are receiving benefits and privileges. No,
Ah.
I'm not. Just because I'm holding that card doesn't mean I'm a U.S. citizen. A trust, on the other hand, is no different than a business, an
Mhm.
LLC, a
Mhm.
corporation. It's a legal fiction. They're all 14th Amendment citizens and have equal protection under the law.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean you, the person
Mhm.
or the
Mhm.
woman, is the citizen. So if you're
Right.
not the grantor and you're not the trustee, you probably are not the beneficiary. At least if you are, you're not going to get them to give it to you in writing easily. Then the only other thing you can be is some kind of agent for the trust to go out and create securities and do
Mhm.
things.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
No, no, my phone's ringing. Hold on.
Okay.
So now, um, so that means you're just the agent. Well, if you're just the agent, what type of agent are you?
Mhm.
And how should you be handling yourself accordingly?
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
everything in a system of government is agency. I mean,
Mhm.
Microsoft Incorporated, yes, is nothing but a piece of paper. But what gives that piece of paper life? The agents.
Agents. Mhm.
You have the CFO, that's the chief banking agent. You have the
Mhm.
CEO, which is the universal agent.
Mhm.
You have the human resource person, that's your special agent. The CFO might be
Mhm.
a general agent,
Mhm.
but they're all agents. Even the
Agents.
employees are
Mhm.
agents.
Yeah. Hmm. That's a perspective. Yeah. I agree with that. I'm gonna look up the what you suggested about agency. What's the name of it again so I can
Go to archive.org,
Mhm.
archive singular, no
Mhm.
S, .org,
Mhm.
and just do a search for the law of agency. Just type in
Law of
law of
agency.
agency.
Law of
You will find
agency.
books that you can freely download.
Okay.
Okay. Now, some of them are older books, but it don't matter. The principles are still there.
Same. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a look at that, but I'm homeschooling, so I do appreciate your time, and I guess I look forward to chatting with you in the comments.
Oh, it's no problem. That's what I'm
All
here
right.
for when I have
Thank you
time.
so much. Yeah, I do appreciate that. I appreciate your time. All right.
Tim, what are you doing?
Nothing. Getting ready, waiting to go to eviction court.
Eviction court.
Not for me, obviously. I'm the landlord. Or I
Well,
don't
I
know if
didn't
I
think it
prop
was
I'm
you.
the
You got rental property.
I'm the I
You're
don't want
the
to say property.
evictor.
I don't want to say property owner, property agent maybe.
You're the property manager.
Yeah, they haven't paid me since August of 2021.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. Family. I gave them their pay or quit notice in October. She's like, good. Now I can fill out some paperwork. And I haven't heard from her since February. Here, the sewage bill, the wastewater bill has to be in the property owner's name. But in the lease, they're responsible for it. So I quit paying it. And they were supposed to turn their water off in March and in April and in June. And they never did. So I was kind of hoping for that because they can't live there without water.
Yeah,
If any of that made any sense to you, what I just said.
it does.
So I'm not in trouble because I didn't pay the bill, because in the lease it says they are responsible for it. So
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, that's part of a lease. That's part of an agreement.
yeah.
Like I
So
had this one lady reach out to me asking me how to handle her case, and should I do a notice? Should I do blah blah blah? And then I finally found out what she's talking about. I said, "Ma'am, you got a contract. Just get the bill paid." People think these processes will fix everything. They go to court, you're gonna get laughed at by the judge because why? It's there's a contract in place. The only laws that the government can make in relation to a landlord tenant is to make sure
is
the landlord plays
the
fair.
lease. Yeah.
That's it. You can't make a landlord keep somebody there. They can't pass laws that inhibit the obligation of a contract.
Well, they did
Well, no, they just want to
during
make sure you. Well,
during
during
COVID.
COVID,
Yeah.
yeah, but in a roundabout way, that was a little bit of kind of necessary at the time.
Yeah. Oh, hey, when that happened, they were both restaurant workers, and I was like, hey, instead of your $900 a month, let's do 6 for 3
Yeah,
months. So it's not like I wasn't.
trying,
Yeah, I always tell people, look, I don't want to evict you. I'm not in the business of doing that. I'm not going to evict you. You're going to evict yourself.
Yeah, you're in the business of making sure you pay your bills.
Yeah, that's it. You know, so, but yeah, so I had one 2 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, my first court case was 2 weeks ago, and the sheriff never served them the paperwork. The sheriff kept going there, but never served them. And whatever the sheriffs wrote down wasn't good enough for the judge. So apparently this judge is a very liberal is what somebody said. So it's just weird knowing all this stuff now and going into a courtroom and seeing everything. It's just so weird to me because I go on the left side. I don't even walk past. I walk past the bar, but I don't have to open the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm obviously
Yeah.
the plaintiff. It's just, but yeah. So, anyways, I hired a private investigator to serve them, and they got them right away. So hopefully they show up today. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
really
Well,
matter.
learning this stuff, if you actually pay attention, you'll start look. You kind of sometimes start looking at judges differently. You kind of sit there and look at them and say, "Wow, I kind of understand what they're saying and what they're doing now. They're not as bad as I thought sometimes."
I don't think. I mean, they're just doing their job like anybody else.
That's it.
You know, and then as long as you don't disrespect them, you you should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're people too.
Yeah. No, the last time I had an eviction in this county, you know, the judge stood up right away and was like, "Look, if I rule in favor of the landlord, you have 7 days." You know, blah blah blah. You know, he basically just said it right off the bat. And this guy said the same thing. Kind of. He's like, "Look, if I rule in favor of I'm going to either rule in favor of the landlord or the tenant or move the trial or something like that." I was rather irritated because I had to go down to the sheriff like 3 times and back up to the judge 3 times last
Yeah.
time I was there. I mean, it's all in the same building, but still. Yeah, no, we got a federal courthouse here where I live. Never see anybody in it. And you
Yeah.
park underneath it too. The parking's underneath it. Because it's right next to a bar that has food that I like.
Welcome to
But
Miami.
oh, you're in Miami.
Yeah, I'm in Miami, Florida.
What are you doing traveling around down where all that damage is? Well, I guess it wasn't in Miami, but
It's
still,
actually don't see any damage down here.
drive up the East Coast or West Coast.
Yeah, no, I
West.
want to get where I'm going, not get delayed.
Now, did you get any up there where you live?
A little bit of rain, wind, nothing real major.
Yeah, so I got a DBA set up. Um, and oh man, what else? I'm trying to get my ducks in a row before I do anything
Yeah,
too exciting.
You want to get them ducks in a row before they quack off.
Yeah. Um, I'm just the birth certificate or name change. I'm not sure what way I want to go with that
I don't
because
even sweat a name change.
you know who D is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, if I get my parents' marriage license, I can correct the birth certificate by taking the race off of it.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah. I don't see a problem with that.
And then apparently the race is what makes us the slave.
Possibly.
So
And you can also correct the fact that it doesn't have the mother's maiden name,
yeah. Well,
which means you're an illegitimate child.
that's what the marriage license is for. Apparently, also. Okay, well then that's a good question because I was never married. So are my children illegitimate?
Technically, that's one way of
I mean,
looking at it because to be legitimate, you had to be married, right?
yeah. So my children are bastards. I mean, I always knew they were bastards, but by their behavior.
You little
Hmm.
bastard, come here.
Yep. And whenever you say heathen, my best friend in high school, his mom used to call us heathens all the time. It just cracks me up every time I hear you say that.
Oh,
It's like,
I was
what are
that
you
age once. I
heathens doing?
remember.
What are you heathens doing?
That's right.
It's like, you heathens, get out of here. Quit chasing them girls around, you heathens.
But Mama, they're so pretty.
Oh. No, I need to give my sister a call, see if she's got a family Bible. I don't know if she has one. I don't know. My mom's side, there's 12 of them.
Well, go buy one.
No, I just want to know if we have one.
Well, if you don't, go buy one. You can buy them on Amazon. Have it in a couple days.
I don't have a family.
You got kids?
I'm not married.
You got kids?
I got one
That's
kid
your
right now.
okay. That's your family.
Well, you know I have two kids, right?
Yeah.
But the one is a girl who wants to be a boy.
Confused.
Yeah. Don't say that. So they get mad when you say that.
Sorry, the truth hurts.
No, I know. Yeah.
I had that conversation with my daughter the other day. She's walking through Walmart, saw something that said there's 76 genders. I said, nope, there's only 3:
Yep. Male,
male, female,
female,
and neutral.
pansexual. Right?
Well, no, neutral. Go look at nature.
Well,
You have
pansexual isn't that
male, female,
neutral?
and asexual.
Oh, asexual. That's
Go look at the English grammar. You have masculine, feminine, and neutered. Okay, so
yeah,
you
but
have
wouldn't that be a
3
man?
different.
Wouldn't that be a masculine? Neutered? Wouldn't that just be masculine without, like my dog?
No, well, no, it's neither female nor male. It's the tense of the word. Okay, but
So do you think that's
but
that reptilian?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because you know how they say we're like part reptile too, you know.
And I had to tell my daughter. I said, look, no matter how you slice it, biology doesn't lie. There's only 2 genders, male and female. Okay. I said, what you're talking about calling genders is a figment of the mind. I said, you can think you are a certain way. That doesn't make it a fact because you think it.
Hmm.
It's just an act of the mind.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, but otherwise from that, not really doing much. Getting ready for I gotta go winterize some of my houses. A couple of them, you know. Getting ready for that wonderful season.
Yeah, gonna be soon. We'll be getting snow.
Oh, whatever. Does it even snow where you live?
Well, not down here in Florida, maybe, but it won't be long. Well, shoot,
I
in
mean, if you ask
October it
me,
starts snowing in Pennsylvania.
yeah, it doesn't snow where I live, if you ask me, compared to where I grew up. I grew up in Michigan. It don't snow in Illinois like it does there. At least where I'm at. I'm not up by Chicago, so it snows a lot up there.
Yeah, it sure does.
That lake effect.
It puts on that white stuff. Ugh. And we ain't talking about the cocaine either.
Got to change my rear brakes and rotors on my Audi. That's on my docket for this week also.
Oh, you're taking your car to the Court of Tim. It has its own docket.
Brakes are easy. It'd be easier than changing the serpentine belt.
Yeah, that I don't doubt.
I had to take so much. It's a twin turbo and it's an Audi, and there's like no room, so I had to take off so much stuff just to actually get to where I could fit my hand in there to put the belt on.
Oh, you need to work on this Audi? You got to remove the whole front end.
That's what I avoided doing that. So, and then I changed the coils, the ignition coils on it too, and had to move the coolant overflow tank out of the way to get to it without disconnecting it.
One true star. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Shoot, next time just undo the rivets, take the front of the body off, then you can just get to the motor right there.
Yeah, no, I already did that. Changed the engine and transmission in that car. Had to take the whole bumper off and drop the cradle, all that. It was not fun.
No, I don't doubt that.
My buddy had a shop and we used a lift and all that, but yeah, it was a process, man.
Boy, I kick that right there. That building right there is wild. It's a guitar. All this time I thought Nashville was the music capital, but Miami can say they have a guitar in their city.
There's not Hard Rock Cafe?
I don't know what it is. I've not been that close, but all I can say is whatever that building is, it's in the shape of a guitar, and it is huge.
It is absolutely the Hard Rock Cafe.
I'm assuming it's a Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, it is. There's a Hard Rock out there.
I know it's freaking cool looking. Got the strings running down the center. The only thing missing is the hole where in the guitar.
Yeah, where the sound comes out.
That's right.
Well, it depends. It could be an electric guitar.
Well, then it's missing the leads.
Does it got a whammy bar?
No, they didn't put a neck on it.
Oh wow.
Hey, remember what built that city down there. The snow.
It definitely wasn't the snow.
No, not that kind of snow.
The snow drove everybody there to build Florida. So
yeah, we're talking about that powder.
I know. I mean, it's God's waiting room. What do you expect?
Exactly.
My ex is from there, and he pointed out something to me that I thought was very interesting. I live in Los Angeles, so obviously we have crazy traffic and crazy drivers here. But when I went to visit him,
not Los Angeles.
Well, when I went to visit him in Florida, I was blown away. I'm like, why do all these people drive so terribly? There's like so much room and whatever. He said, because everybody's on drugs. They're either so old that they're medicated or they're so young that they're medicated. So everybody in Florida is driving medicated. And I was like, God, that's scary.
And if they're not medicated, they're supplementing with pot. Well, actually, I stand corrected. There's something that could be considered a whammy bar. It's a crane right now. Los Angeles. I remember those days. I used to go out there every week.
I remember when we were in Florida and I was a kid and we were in St. Petersburg, Tampa. And I remember the old bridge that used to be there, and part of it was missing on one side because of a cruise ship that hit it. It's before they built that new one. That was a
That
long time ago. It was about
I
30
guess
years
you
ago.
I guess you could call it a whammy bar because that crane looks like it's permanently attached to the building.
That's my question.
I don't know what they would need it for, but they're definitely doing something with it. Maybe to keep the windows clean. I don't know.
Are y'all just on to chit chat today?
Oh, we were talking about the straw man and what it was a minute ago, but she had to
God,
go back to homeschooling.
gotcha. Yeah, and the chat is just there's no owner or anything anymore, huh? You're kind of the only admin that participates a little bit, I noticed.
Yeah, I bounce around from room to room.
That's nice. Yeah, I just mean like in this, because man, there's so much garbage. I was trying to delete some of the garbage. I'm like, oh, you can't even delete the garbage.
Oh, if I see garbage, it's going to get removed.
Oh, good, thank you. I did
Just
notice
call
some
me
stuff
the trash
missing.
man.
It's not, I don't like to be a tattletale, but sometimes people post things that are really confusing for newbies or whatever. And I'm like, you're not helping right now. You're just creating controversy, So it just,
Well, you know what's creating confusion isn't always what people post. It's very few people are reading it from the government's own mouth.
no, you're not wrong. 1,000%. Like, the reading is the lack of reading, let's go that route, has astonished me from the very beginning of this journey, way back when, for me, because I'm like, this stuff is written down for us, right? Like if you
Yeah, I
but
argue with
everybody
people all the
wants,
time. They say it's all fraud. It's all fraud. Really? No, it's not. They
yeah.
published everything.
You know, there's a little bit of both in my personal experience. Don't get me wrong. Last I checked, if the mafia can get away with a few sneaky things, they will. So, I don't doubt that there's some kind of fraud happening or whatever. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to work and live and use the system. What trips me out the most is all these people who want to correct their status and they don't want to be a part of the system. And I'm like, but you still want to get gas at the gas station. You still want to buy your groceries at a grocery store. Those are privileges and benefits of being in the system. So either learn how
Yeah.
to work the system correctly or be a victim of the system. That's your choice at the end of the day. But the
Well,
reality is nobody, even people who want to own their land and whatever, they own it, but then you still want to get water from the city, from the municipality. You don't want to dig your own well. They don't really want to live the way it would require them to live to truly reclaim their status, quote unquote.
well, let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't even understand what it means when you say status, as in they teach it that you're a U.S. citizen because you receive privileges and benefits and a social
Yep.
security number.
Yep.
No,
No.
status has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. Status has
Yeah.
to do with, are you competent to handle your own affairs or not?
Yeah. Yep. I have a guy in another group that I'm in, and we've been the whole group as a whole has been trying to, tell him this because he swears to God that he can correct his status with his passport and with the IRS, and he's going to be just fine as soon as he gets this taken care of. And we're just like, yo, if you can't even explain it to us, there's no way you know what this is. You know what I mean? If you can't
Well,
explain it to somebody, you can't stand on your square.
well, go to look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. In the
Mm-hmm.
definition of status, it has nothing to do with nationality. It has everything to do with competency and incompetency.
Yep. I was trying to find the part of You know, in Title 26, where it says that we are infants and invalids until we have, accrued our accounting. I thought I had it ready, so I went in there and I typed it in the group and everything, and I had the number. You know how you memorize stuff in your head? I just got it wrong. So I memorized it in my head as 7206, which is actually the part that deals with fraud. Funny that we're talking about that. And not the infinite invalids. And, he's one of those guys. Oh, well, you can't find it. It must not be in there. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, well, eh,
It's a
the
lot of it's a lot of reading to do regardless, though. I think for any,
no, you're not wrong.
I've been reading for a long time and I still feel like I got a lot more reading to do.
But I got a
Yeah,
Westlaw account, and
I've
I
been
can tell you
reading
now,
your
I could.
law of agencies that somebody keeps recommending from the
Wink,
University of
nod, nod.
Michigan.
Yeah, that somebody keeps recommending.
Yeah, some guy keeps recommending something about law of agencies. I don't know who that guy is. And yeah, I've been reading that from I think it's from 1901.
Yeah.
Has it been helpful?
Yeah, nah, I don't know. My biggest difficulty is trying to unlearn. Trying to
So
unlearn all the stuff that I thought was right.
yeah.
And
Buy him books and books, and he just won't learn.
and it's just trying to get out of that mindset. That's where my struggles are.
Something that helped me a lot, or at least the something that I've used to help people kind of have that struggle with that is think about Santa Claus. In this country, we tell lies to children to manipulate their behavior to our desired effect. We lie to them with love and intention, love and goodness in our heart, right? We're not trying to harm them, but we
Tooth
lie to them
fairy and
about.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's so easy for us to do that to our children and lie to them using Santa Claus to manipulate their behavior, for me it made it easier to understand that the powers that be might be using things to manipulate using lies to manipulate my behavior to their desired effect, which is spending more money and creating more debt. So if that's the effect, that it just made it a little bit easier for me. Maybe that can help.
Well, that's what I've been saying. If you go look at what the intention was with the New Deal, they needed the currency to flow.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, they said, "Yeah, we mortgaged all your property, but see, they have to give equal exchange."
Yep.
The equal exchange was, if you learn the rules to the game, you won't never hold liability. You'll get to keep all your stuff, and we'll settle the debts.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm trying to do.
You can't get people to understand that.
Yeah. No, the system, you have to, I was always raised with the saying, good intentions pave the road to hell. So, even if you look back now, that one movie on Netflix called The Social Experiment, they talked to the guy who invented the like button. And it was good intention. He wanted the like button to be a way to share joy and love amongst people in an online community. But he says now he regrets it because it has turned into a beast and no longer something beautiful like he meant it to be. So to me, it's the same thing. The intention was good. The result, not exactly what was intended. But that's like Pastor The Way said, that's on us to educate ourselves. The education, like everybody is responsible for their own education. You can't blame that on somebody else. So it's on us to read and educate ourselves about the facts of how we got to where we are and not just point fingers at others and blame, oh, fraud this and fraud that. Maybe that's true, but what are you doing about it other than pointing the finger?
I talk about, the fraud thing, and I tell people, I said, it's not fraud. They publish everything. But now, if you want to argue constructive fraud, oh, yeah, we can argue that.
Yeah.
Because constructive fraud basically raises the issue that the contract has fraud built into it. It's not on its face fraud, though.
I like that.
Yeah,
Because
I guess.
constructive fraud doesn't even have to have the intention to commit fraud. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
it could
just
have
trying
been
to.
well intentioned.
Yeah, I'm just trying to navigate through the waters, knowing what I'm doing as opposed to not knowing.
That's honestly one of those things where every person is on their own path.
Yeah,
Everybody's got to find the path that works for them. And that's one thing I like about the system. If you want to just be in the private and you have that ability, you just got to know how to do it. If you want to have a business and give people jobs and run and do that, then you need to know what you're doing in that area. It's this system is the way it's set up. It just basically boils down to you have to find your path.
I agree. And I feel like people always ask how long it takes, but that's like asking someone how long does it take to learn to tie your shoes? Some people learn right away, other people never do and still use Velcro. Some people, you know what I mean? Everybody's different on how long it takes them to learn to tie their shoes. And I feel like this is the same concept. How long it's going to take is different for everyone.
Yeah. Part of learning is unlearning too.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have your own foundation. You know, my foundation is the Bible. So you gotta have your own foundation, and you gotta be open to the possibility that your foundation, if you ever find out is wrong, then you gotta discard that foundation and build a new foundation. But you've got to have a foundation to start with, or you're just gonna be double-minded and never really find your path.
I agree. Ooh.
And a lot of people, that's part of their problem is they want to build their own foundation even when they find out it's built on sand, and they don't want to ever adjust. So guess what happens? They get stuck where they're at.
That makes a lot of sense.
that's why you don't go into quicksand. Avoid it.
People do it all the time.
I'm still trying to pull myself out of the sand.
Huh, 3.6 more miles and I get rid of this freaking nightmare load.
So I've heard some trains running. So I don't watch the news, so I'm not sure if the strike is over or not, but
I didn't know trains had legs.
well, whatever. They're wheeling. There you go.
Daniel.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, not too much.
I pop in the sandwich group every now and then. I don't stay too long because it's a lot of educated people trying to educate uneducated people who are uneducatable, if that's a word.
You see that everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just pop in every now and then. But I seen you on the mic, so I figured I'd see what you were talking about.
It's kind of similar to trying to teach a Swift driver how to drive.
Yeah, I know you didn't go there. What are you talking about, though? Swift drivers drive good. They just drive all over the place, into everything and everyone.
I have come to the conclusion it is not the Swift driver that's the problem. It's the trailer. Because even UPS trucks that haul Swift trailers end up running into stuff. So it must be the trailer. It's not the driver.
I wonder if it's where the tandem location is, because I don't think those Swift trailers have slide axles, do they?
Don't know.
I'd have to
I've
look
never
at that next
pulled a
time I see
Swift
one.
trailer, and I'm scared to pull one.
Hey, a few minutes ago, what you guys were talking about, what I've seen in a lot of groups, and I know, Pastor, you said this a lot. Pick one teacher, pick one area, and focus on that instead of just dealing with all these gurus. And I totally agree with that. But I know another problem that I've come across from just checking in on different groups is everyone, well, not everyone, let me say the majority, is looking for that one piece of paper that's going to answer and fix all their problems, which they're not going to find.
That's right.
And it's like that's what everybody's searching for, and it's like you're searching for something that doesn't exist and never will.
That magic
It's all
unicorn.
about what you learn and what you do. And yes, right back to what you said, your path, everybody's is different. Some of us might be similar in some ways, but we all have to walk our own path and deal with our own choices, because if I make a decision, that's not going to affect you, it's going to affect me. I got to deal with it.
Yep. I mean, go look at Dee Bradbury. Her grandmother was a private banker, as in she first generation here from another country, and she knew how the game was played, and she did everything according to those rules. And she came here around before, I think that would be before the Great Depression. So she was able to handle her business. She was competent. But her path was, hey, she did just this, and she lived a good life. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to own no businesses. She didn't go work for any jobs. She just knew how to handle her own affairs. And that was good enough for her. She was able to live at home, raise her kids, be done with it. Somebody else might say, you know what? I want to have a Fortune 500 company, so they need to learn what it means to build something and manage it properly. I mean, depending on what path you want to take will depend on what you need to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the idea that the real issue for me, I guess, with that mentality in general is that you want somebody else to do all the work for you. You made the mess, you got yourself into this position, and now you want somebody else to get you out of it. So if you don't even trust yourself, why should I trust you? You know what I mean? You don't even believe in yourself. You don't even trust yourself. You don't believe that you could figure it out without somebody else. So it just, that part.
Yeah, you're not wrong, because how many of those people have you heard they use the term legalese, and then they'll say, but you got to be an attorney to understand it. No, you don't. Pick
No,
up
you
a
don't.
dictionary, start learning the words. You'll find out it's not actually legalese. You'll find out it's actually, if you go to the etymology of the word, you'll find out the legal definition was probably already there.
Yes. Well, and the idea that people don't really understand what the law dictionaries even are. They don't really get it. They don't get that it comes from case law. They don't get that it comes from Trident. That's why there's different editions and why it matters, and not all the editions will have the same definitions, et cetera, et cetera. They're like, oh, just show me where to read that. And even if you read it, if you haven't done all the other reading, that doesn't mean it's going to make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have people come to me all the time. Where do I look for this in your state codes? Don't ask me where. I'm not looking at your state.
Yeah. Or they
You're gonna
use
have to
federal
do the work.
codes for state stuff.
Yeah. And I hate being that way, but I'm not being mean. I want you to learn. And slowly, I've actually got people that's actually coming back to me after learning the law of agency. They said, I can finally see what you're talking about.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Did you make it your 3 miles yet?
I got 1.6 to go.
Oh, halfway.
I can get rid of this godforsaken load.
Don't miss your turn on 2nd Avenue.
32nd Avenue.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, this load was a freaking nightmare.
Well,
Let's
I'm
see.
glad it's done with it.
What's today? Today's Tuesday. Monday night. Sunday night, I blew a tire about 10 miles from the truck stop. Now, I've not got super singles. I've got duals. So I only blew the one tire, so I slowed down to about 50 and hobbled to the truck stop. And I get to the TA, and the TA is closed.
Oh, goodness.
They had a fire the night before in the restaurant and closed everything, including the shop. Okay, that's not the best of it. I got to do a road call, and it's not my trailer, so I've got to contact the broker. Who do we need to talk to about this tire? Then I realize I'm leaking oil out of the trailer. It's biodegradable glass machine oil, like you would use for cutting glass or something. I don't know. And I said, we got a problem with this load. Told them what the problem was. And they was thinking it was going to be my fault, like the load had shifted or something. Nope. I said, I can tell you now, it ain't my fault. So they end up calling. It took them from Sunday afternoon to yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock before they actually got somebody out to fix the tire, and they called a hazmat crew to come in and clean the oil up.
Goodness.
I was on it for 27 hours before everything got done, and all they wanted to do was pay me $350 for my downtime. Are you joking?
I was going to ask you that. So do you get compensated for that?
Oh, yeah, they said, we'll give you $350 for layover. I said, I'm not even going to accept that. I'll just send TQL an invoice. I said, because if my truck don't move, I lose an average of $1,500 a day. Because it takes a little bit of money to keep this truck moving. And right now, the brokers are breaking it.
You own your truck?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you try to go 1,100 miles a day?
No, I didn't say 1,100 miles a day.
What,
I said on average, if this truck doesn't move, I'm losing $1,500 a day.
About how many miles a day do you drive on average?
Anywhere.
Just shoot me a guesstimate.
Anywhere from 400 to 700, depending on location.
Okay, so I got lots of questions about that. So you're putting a lot of miles on your on your truck per year.
I do
100,000.
I do over 100,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay, and so how much? I guess trying to word this properly. Have you replaced your engine? Any of that stuff yet? How long are those engines good for?
I haven't yet.
How many miles you got?
537.
You got a Cummins?
Cummins X15.
Hey.
It's not the international motor. It's a Cummins. I got 536,000 miles. Well, 537 here in just a few miles. But if you take care of them, they're supposed to get close to 1 million miles.
So you're about halfway. Well, over halfway. I was just curious on that. And do you know about how much it would cost to replace an engine?
Right now in the current market, 40, 50,000.
Woo! Do you have some kind of insurance on that?
No,
Okay.
my insurance is run out.
So next time one of those people call you about your extended car warranty, you need to answer the phone.
I actually did that one time. And we're calling about your extended warranty. I said, "Oh, I sure could use that. So let's talk.
Yeah, they probably hung up on you.
How many miles you got on your car?" I said, on your vehicle. Oh, about 525,000 miles. I don't think we'd be a good fit.
Yeah, it's another one of my favorite phone calls to answer. And I'm like, what vehicle are you talking about? Because, I got 3 of them. I'm like, I know you're not talking about my new one.
I love trolling those people. I remember they called me one time about my 94 Mustang GT. I said, yeah. I said, they said, how many miles on it? I said, well, on the body, about 112,000. They said, well, what do you mean on the body? I said, well, it's done been through I don't know how many engines. I said, right now it's got a 347 stroker in it. You want to cover that?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you get to talking to those people. I love talking to them. I'll freaking record the phone call too, and I'll start asking them about what's your website, what's this, and stop. What's your address? This, that, and the other. Because I'm just trying to confirm who you are. Because you got to be careful with all the scammers out there. And eventually, what do? They just hang up on me. Now, let's go see if I can find somebody and see where I need to go.
Yeah, so, at DoorDash, I've been doing that for 5 years now. And they like to send you to a store that an order's already been picked up from, etc., or the store's closed, or it's not quite open yet, so you have to wait. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes you got to wait. So apparently, if you're there for more than a half an hour, they'll compensate you for your time. But if you show up to a store and it's closed, you got to take a picture, whatever, and then they can get it off get you off the app, that order. You get half the pay. Well, if an order's picked up, you have to call support. And then support has to call the store, and then they have to call the customer and do all this nonsense before they'll release the order and give you your half pay. Now, one day I spent 20 minutes talking to them about it before they finally got the order off. I go, so now am I going to be compensated for this 20 minutes? Well, we gave you your half pay. I go, no. Why do you think that my time is not valuable? I get paid per delivery, not hourly, not any other way. So I had a big stink with them about that. They don't like it when I call. I explain how my time is more valuable.
I gotta make a phone call, guys, so I'm gonna jump off.
Yeah,
Always
I'll be
nice
right
chat.
back. I'm checking in, so I'll be right back. Now, where you want me to drop it at? No. Okay, on that. Okay. Thank you. Yay, that's done. I can get rid of this damn thing.
So you don't own your own trailer, do you?
No. Nope, don't own my own trailer.
So are you getting rid of your trailer now, or are they just taking off of the trailer?
I'm getting rid of this trailer, and then I'm going to go pick up the trailer I normally pull.
Is that the one that you were letting them use?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you rent that trailer, or